Alabama working on a couple of big targets in the transfer portal. We're going to talk about Hasz and Collins and how they could help the Crimson Tide. The All-SEC team announced some Bama players and some familiar names and faces are on there. And then Antonio Langham to the College Football Hall of Fame. One of the biggest plays in Alabama history was his pick six against the Florida Gators and Steve Spurrier back in the day. All that right here on the Bama Tailgate YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, thumbs up. Let's get this thing started with a mighty, a loud, boisterous Roll Tide. What do you say, everybody? Welcome to the channel. Like, subscribe, thumbs up. Brought to you by Pearl River Resort over in Philadelphia, Mississippi. Big concert coming up December 28th. Tickets available. We're going to give away 2 sets of 4 tickets with 2 rooms each and buffets for everybody to go over and check out Tonic and Fuel and Hinder. And we'll talk about that more as we move on. But let's get into what's going on with Alabama right now, and that is the hot transfer portal, right? And a couple of targets for the Crimson Tide include positions of need. Bama lost tight end in the transfer portal. We saw it with the wide receiver spot being available. And Arkansas transfer, a guy that Alabama really, I think, would like to get is someone that maybe could help Alabama a lot, Luke Hasz, or Hasz. He's a guy that has had 16 catches last year, 250 yards plus, and averaged about 16 yards and 3 touchdowns in his 4 games. He had an injury against the Aggies of Texas A&M, so he didn't play a full season, but he's a guy that would definitely slot into this Alabama offense. 6'3", 240 pounds, seems to have good hands. He can block. He can do other things too that would help Alabama, including running routes and doing all the things that you really want from that tight end position. And I think what we saw is that Kalen DeBoer and this offense uses the tight ends a lot. I mean, and who knows what it's going to be like next year without Jalen Milroe at quarterback, but it was a position this past season where you saw the tight end being an integral part of the way that this offense operates, right? So for Bama to go after a guy like Hasz, has SEC experience in the portal, someone to keep an eye on as Bama tries to pick up the transfer portal with guys going out. They're going to have guys coming in as well. Another guy in the portal to keep an eye on, Florida transfer defensive lineman, edge rusher, Kelby Collins. He comes to visit Alabama. Now, this is a guy who grew up an Alabama fan and would fit in great with this Tide defense. 6'4", over 270 pounds, was a freshman All-SEC player in 23, 23 tackles, had a sack and a half, and played in 12 games for the Gators. You're talking about a position of need for Alabama and a guy who knows all about what it's like to be in this state because he's from Alabama, and he's a guy that Freddie Roach went after pretty hard recruiting for Alabama, but ended up going from Gardendale to the University of Florida. So now he's back on the what do we call this? On the block, to be able to, for the right price, come to town. He's going to check out schools like Texas A&M, but Collins probably over at Florida going, you know what? Should have just stayed in Tuscaloosa and played for my hometown team. And I bet you, just knowing how it is in our state, there's a lot of his family members going, hey, you know what? It'd be cool if we could just go watch you down in Tuscaloosa. So Kelby Collins, another one of those targets for Alabama that will be in town Thursday. And, Alabama will be trying to convince to come. And you're going to lose some players in the portal, but you're going to pick some up as well. And this was an area where Kalen DeBoer did such a great job when he was at Washington, and he'll try to continue to do the same thing at Alabama. And, it's obviously for the Crimson Tide, a place where they're going to have to do well because you're going to lose players. So you're going to have to pick them up. So we'll keep an eye on Collins. But I feel good about Collins for some reason. I just think this is a guy who's going to end up wearing that Alabama uniform. Alabama was represented on the All-SEC team. The All-SEC coaches team announced, and of course, guess who's on there? Some of the big-time names. Ryan Hollywood Williams, wide receiver, first team. Tyler Booker, offensive lineman, first team. Two really good players. How about linebacker Jahad Campbell? Yeah, first team. And defensive back Malachi Moore, first team. Caden Proctor, second team from the offensive line. And then Deontay Lawson, who was injured for Alabama, third team. He was hurt in that Oklahoma game. Boy, did that cost Alabama not having him. But those are the Crimson Tide players. They ended up with 6, including 4 on the first team. And I think that's a good thing for Alabama. I mean, anytime you can, put those guys out there and you're trying to sell the program. Hey, you know what? We didn't really have much of a drop off when when Nick Saban left as far as first team guys. Now we've had more in years past, but I felt like all of those guys represented their play on the field as some of the best players. Obviously, some of the leadership stuff that hurt Alabama. Certainly, looking back on it, could have been a lot better. But, all in all, 9-3 record, first year for Kalen DeBoer. It's hard to sit there and argue and say that things didn't go well. They didn't go perfect. And, this is, the captains, all 4 of the captains are on there. So good for them. They all played well and are represented. Now, one other piece of business today, Antonio Langham. I've had him on my show before. Really like this guy. When I used to do the Tailgate show with Jay Barker, he swung over. It was fun hanging out with Jay Barker and Antonio Langham. Played Alabama 1990 to 93. Was part of that 1992 Bama National Championship. Had the interception for a touchdown against Florida and a 28-21 win for the Crimson Tide at Legion Field in that first SEC championship game. But this is a guy that was an all-SEC selection 3 times and a first-team All-American twice, and was Alabama's first Thorpe Award winner as the best defensive back in the country, and I think that was like a 93. But he was a major part of the 92 national championship team, part of Brother Bill's defense, had that incredible interception, and that was a huge championship for Alabama. And that was the one that they got between the Bear and Nick, the Nick Tater, right? So 92 was a big deal. They beat Miami. That defense was smothering, and Antonio Langham getting into the College Football Hall of Fame, immortalized. So pretty cool. He will be inducted at the ceremony December 10th in Las Vegas, which you can actually watch that. It's the 66th time that they have presented the awards in the Hall of Fame, but it's pretty cool. It'll be on ESPN, and congratulations to him. Really nice guy. And, obviously had the stuff off the field that cost Alabama, with the suspensions and everything. But looking back now, I mean, the way that this thing works now, I mean, anything that he would have done would be probably nothing compared to what we got going on in, in college football with NIL and basically, anybody being able to go out and do anything to cash in. So we'll keep an eye on what's going on with the transfer portal. I'm sure there's some other guys that are going to slip into town that we'll tell you about, but some areas of need for Alabama, that you keep talking about because, the portal is heating up, and people keep asking me, is there somebody else that is going to slide in there that we're not expecting? And I don't know the answer to that. I mean, I don't think anybody really knows. A lot of these guys, like Otis and Colt and, Hurley. I mean, we figured they'd end up in there. Prentice, Odom, and Law, 3 wide receivers that had playing time in the portal. Bama worked on bringing in KC Concepcion, kind of got into that on yesterday's show. And if you didn't watch it, check it out. But he was a freshman All-American at NC State and had a big year a few seasons ago. He'd be a great guy to have. Miles McVay, offensive tackle, good player. Danny Lewis, tight end. But, you're talking about now Hasz coming in, and then defensive lineman Hunter Osborne leaving. And here we are, Bama trying to bring in Kelby Collins, and this is how it works now, and so it don't feel bad when you look in there and see guys leave, but you do want to keep the best players you got. when you start seeing like what happened at Florida State last year and you start seeing all your contributors leave, then your program could go down the tube fast. And the Seminoles are a great example of how bad things can get in such a short amount of time. All right, finally, it is the season of giving, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to give to you guys. If you're a fan of 90s rock music, Hinder, Tonic, and Fuel are going to be at Silver Star Convention Center December 28th. That's a 7:00 show, and I'm telling you, I'm going to give 2 sets of these away. So we'll do the first giveaway coming up this Friday. And what I want you to do is tell me why in the comments section you think you belong at the Silver Star Convention Center to see Hinder, Tonic, and Fuel. What do you like about these guys? Make a compelling case, and you get 4 complimentary tickets to see the concert in Philadelphia, Mississippi, and then 2 rooms. So 2 one-night stays. Your companion, a friend and their companion. You get 2 rooms to go with it, and then buffets for everyone, so you get to eat while you're there. Take advantage of this. This is the season of giving, and we're going to do that for you guys. But Hinder, Tonic, and Fuel, you can also get tickets at the Silver Star Convention Center at Pearl River Resort for this big show. This was Big Sexy Elmo's. This was his thing, man. He loved the old rock music, the 90s, 2000 rock, and you'll recognize all of these like songs when you hear these guys play. But anyway, from now, you can start now. From now until Friday, I'm going to give 2 sets of these away. I want to know. I need the most compelling case for why you want to be there December 28th, 2024. Tell me who you're taking with you to. I want to know that. Who's going with you for this? Because it's not just you. It's you, your spouse, or your partner, or whatever. And then 2, maybe somebody else. Or maybe you got a big family. It's like you and the kids. But 4 tickets, 2 rooms, buffets for everybody. Pearl River Resort over in Philadelphia, Mississippi. So take advantage of that, guys. And we'll give these away. The Saturday show, we'll give them away, but we'll do the work on Friday. So you got until Friday, all day Friday. Saturday, I'm going to pick a winner for the first one, and we'll do it twice. But thanks for hanging out with us. Thank you to all of those at the Pearl River Resort for their great support. And roll tide, everybody. Things are heating up in the portal, and I think Bama's going to do just fine.
To Pearl River Resort.